another day is breaking. For Leo, the 24,373rd day of his imprisonment. His prison is not one of walls, not anymore. It is a prison of seclusion, a seclusion which leads him to spend the long, lonely hours of the night hunched over a battered typewriter, painfully tapping out the thoughts and feelings he is unable to express in any other way that would be intelligible to his fellow human beings. Around him, the accumulation of all the solitary years, the trash and treasures of a lifetime, comforting clutter for a man who, possessing less than others, still possesses something. Vision, for one thing, although Leo's vision is dim and grows dimmer with age. Faith, for another. Leo has a counterpart in these Bible pages he has thumbed so often. Job, too, suffered incredible trials, yet kept his faith. And Leo also has his timepieces, retrieved from trash heaps, given him when their hands were gone or their springs were broken. They have supplied the imperative of purpose. Driven by man's need to find out what makes things tick, Leo taught himself to repair them, and thus has justified his existence. He is useful. And besides, clocks and watches do not turn their faces away from one. And finally, Leo has his cart. It is much like another cart he built 60 years ago when he was a boy. That was the cart which first gave him mobility, which gave freedom to a lad whose legs were useless, but who, like other boys, yearned to explore the paths and byways of his world. He remembers what a thrill it was to move under his own power. He remembers the towering heights of the sunflowers edging the fields near the farmhouse where he lived, and how beautiful and strange it was to see close up what lay beyond the windows of his home. What might seem perfectly ordinary to other boys sometimes loomed so large as to be frightening to Leo. There were the huge beasts which blocked his path. There were snakes he could not run away from. And once there was the startling charge of an unseen freight which he could not hear approaching. After that narrow escape, Leo's fright was only momentary, hers long-lasting. He learned to crochet. How many years he spent endlessly knotting thread into intricate patterns, Leo no longer remembers. They were years in which his contemporaries grew to manhood, and his mother grew old. And then his mother was gone. There was no one left to say that Leo must spend his life within walls. It is not good for a man to live alone. He needs the company of others, and others can be found in the town. Leo Beuerman, a person, imprisoned since birth in a prison that is not made of walls, a prison of flesh and bone, his own warped and twisted body. Shakespeare said, "Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head." Leo Beuerman knows more than most of us about adversity. Leo Beuerman, too, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. Behind the age-dimmed eyes, a mind undimmed and searching. Within the twisted frame, an indomitable human heart. His ancient tractor is a familiar sight on the streets of the community near his home. Leo redesigned the tractor and with the help of a nephew, rigged it with a special hoist. Each day, he drives it into town and parks it in the place which by common consent of the townspeople has become his place. He does not ask for help. He does not need it. As with infinite patience, he goes through the tedious ordeals that are the accepted pattern of his life. The cart, Leo and all, goes hand over hand to the sidewalk. What does it matter if size and strength are limited? Pulleys and chains will suffice. What does it matter if the simple actions involved in maneuvering the cart around the tractor are painful and time-consuming? Pain can be ignored, and time must be filled in some way. Transferring whatever he may need for the day from the tractor storage box to his cart, Leo goes through a ritual given its own kind of halting efficiency by repetition. An action need not alter the course of human events to become heroic. Courage is a factor in many activities, which are seemingly insignificant. His cart, which once meant freedom from four walls, now has become, in addition, freedom from dependency on others for the food he eats, the clothes he wears. Leo is a merchant. His cart is his place of business, a display case for his wares. In the businessman's tradition, he stands behind what he sells. I guarantee it. A businessman does not expect customers to wink at shoddy goods. A merchant has no need for charity. Business is seldom, if ever, brisk. Those who have been taught that it is unkind to stare at the handicapped carry their thoughtfulness to great lengths. It is mostly children, not yet aware that we ignore those who are different, who suddenly remember that they could use a new pencil or a ballpoint pen or something else which Leo has to sell. He does not accept more than his posted prices. Each customer's change is precisely and accurately counted out. And between the customers, there is time to think. What does a man in Leo's situation think about? In Leo's own words, I think everybody is lonesome and feels sorry for themselves at times, but I never did believe in being a quitter. If one thinks it all over and sees a way through, Let nothing stop you until you get what you set out for, or else see your mistakes. Because of this idea that I am now doing what no one at first would ever dare to think I would ever do. I was so weak and sickly and having almost no strength. And now I am in business, being all by myself with all these strangers, having such little trouble and enjoying life fairly well. Enjoying life. That's what Leo thinks about. The nature of the human spirit is such that obstacles in one's path must be surmounted. Is there a point at which obstacles may become too great? Are there handicaps and frustrations too overwhelming for the human spirit? If there are such obstacles, Leo does not know about them. He knows about the futility of self-pity in the face of unalterable circumstances and the satisfactions of a challenge met. He knows about freedom and independence and the uses of adversity. And he knows what it means to care about other people, as is shown in this line he once wrote. One of my greatest wishes always was that I could get into some very profitable business and help those that are poor. Leo Beuerman, homeward bound on the 24,373rd day of his imprisonment.